Okay, it's a good morning from the studios in Brisbane, at Radio FM 88 Australia. Of course, we are streaming simulcast on Facebook and YouTube as Radio FM 88 Australia and X as Radio FM 88 Aussie. After the show, you can continue watching those shows, or you can jump onto Spotify, iHeart, Apple, or Amazon. So without further ado, I'm clicking across to our good co-host over there at the top of the totem pole. Elise, it's a good morning, good evening to you.
Yes, so good evening to everybody in the US. Good morning to everybody in Australia. Today, I'm very excited to have Anna Michelle. Anna Michelle has a lot of background here in her bio. So today, we're going to talk about a piece of the whole puzzle of who is Anna Michelle, which is the emotion code, the belief code, and the heart code, which I'm very excited to talk about. But she's also an acupuncturist and a couple of craniosacral therapy. She does many other things, but I'm going to let her tell you her amazing self, all the things that she does. So welcome, Anna Michelle, to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, Elise. And thank you, Jeff. It's an honor to be here to talk with you today. Actually, I was just daydreaming about the things that I do yesterday, and I thought, you know, because of the variety of patients that I get and the things that I'm asked for help with, it just was dawning on me that, you know, I'm sure that people, you know, in general could use a little more awareness as to how many options there are for gentle healing modalities in our everyday lives, whether it be things that they do for themselves or for them to seek out people such as myself. I have such a range of tools in my practice that I use, and they're all gentle. They do not involve cutting or, you know, like drugging or really no side effects in anything that I do. So there's just so many ways that we can seek help. Where we may or may not be broken, but we can really get the kind of help that we need and without a lot of backlash. I'm an acupuncture physician. I do Chinese medicine practice, including Chinese acupuncture in my office. But I also do Hari, H-A-R-I, acupuncture. It's a Japanese style acupuncture where basically we don't poke the needle. We use a very special, this is my pen, but a gold needle. And we use it with a special technique where energy flows through the practitioner and to the needle and stimulates what needs to be, you know, stimulated as far as channels. So there's a lot of practice and study that goes along with this, with listening to the patient's pulses. There are 12, understanding, you know, just so many aspects of the patient. And this can help anywhere from mental, emotional, to spiritual, to physical, to just so many things. And then to further my practice, I, after the Chinese and the Hari Japanese acupuncture, you know, there's a lot of listening and communication that goes along with the practice. And most of that has to do with ailments of the body, but also the emotions. So one of my favorite modalities is the emotion code, which is, you can look on discoverhealing.com and find out more about it. But there's the emotion code, body code, belief code, and the heart code, which is just recently, they've just come out with a new book. This is by Dr. Bradley. And it's Discover Healing. So his wife Jean as well. They both co-wrote the book, The Heart Code. And so I use this daily in my practice, and I can do this even through the ethers or through the internet by phone. I don't have to be in the room with a person or even talking to them to help with this code. So what we do with this practice is something called muscle testing, which has been around, I'd say, probably more than 100 years, maybe 150 years as far as book writing. But so muscle testing is basically, we all have electricity in our body. And so what we do in order to connect with that electricity, obviously, is tuning in. So we can tune in by listening with our ears, with our touch, with our hearts, with our, we're all connected in some way. And if we listen, we can understand the communication of the person, the body, the spirit. So the heart code goes really deep, the emotion code, but it's actually rather simple in that we use this muscle testing. We get yes or no answers only. It's not like I'm sitting there and seeing all the events of the person's life and I have and I'm like super psychic. But what I can do is I can use my body, which has electricity, or the person's body if they're in person, and I can use their arm if they can hold their weight with a very gentle touch, and I ask a yes question, it will hold because the electricity is fluent within the system. Now, if I ask a question to them that is a no, so yes or no questions only, then their arm will literally not hold ladybug, gentle touch, anything. Like, it's just like the power goes off. Okay, so looks it's very interesting to watch, but I use this technique, which is ring on ring. So this holds for yes, this ring. And this is my yes or no hand. And this is my, so with no, it lets go. It slips very easily. And this just takes practice, maybe 100, 200 times of asking yes or no questions like, oh, my name is Anna. Yes. My name is Bob. Okay. No, not Bob. Okay. So, or, I can say war, it's slipping. If it's peace, it's holding. So the electric is coming through my channels. And so the books that they've written are really good about explaining about the quantum science behind, and how Einstein basically, this is Einstein stuff. It's something that is in the Western field, and it's not hokey pokey. So anyway, so we use charts, and if I were a chiropractor, I might use muscle testing to test muscles for the purpose of a chiropractic office. But I use questions, yes or no questions, in regards to emotions with the emotion code, or I use for the heart code, I'll use questions, yes or no style, with the muscle testing along. And when I do that, then I can, let's say something comes up that needs to be cleared. Like in the emotion code is the most simple to go by. We have one chart that is basically all of the vibrational frequencies of all the emotions. And yes, there can be different variations and colors to that. But basically, we're asking the yes or no questions to the subconscious. The subconscious is underlying the consciousness that is always, present when we're awake and we're doing our things and being who we are, and our performance during the day. But the subconscious is quietly working to beat our heart, to breathe, to digest our food, to feel our feelings or not, or just all kinds of things that are going on in the background that we couldn't possibly sit here and consciously think about. And that information that is in the subconscious is vast. It is so vast. We it just goes on forever. It's quantum. It's a field. And so we can ask those yes or no questions, and we're going to get anything. Really, the subconscious knows everything about us through our lifetime, and even before. Like, it could be having to do with our ancestry. So with the heart code or the emotion code, we'll use that chart that has the different emotions, and we'll say yes or no, this column, this line, and oh, okay, I see. Maybe grief comes up. So if grief comes up, we're basically asking, what is it that we can clear today? If a person is saying, I'm really feeling dragged, I don't know what's going on, we can clear things according to what the subconscious says. Like, I don't have to figure them out. I just say, okay, subconscious, what do you got for us today? What can we clear? And when we clear, we basically use this central channel. Again, we're electric. We have all this neurological information, goes all the way down the back to the tailbone. And we just swipe over it a few times with that grief coming up, like, oh yes, we want to clear grief. Okay. So that grief came up at one instance in that person's life, and it's blocking stuff, and it's heavy baggage, and it just, not saying that grieving isn't a process that we need to do. I could even use, like, could be effort unreceived. That's one of the emotions. Effort unreceived. Maybe something happened definitely something happened. If that emotion kind of gets stuck because they just keep marching on, and they just, and it just didn't get processed, because we do have to process these things for them to leave our bodies. We don't keep all our emotions. It's just these ones that don't process. Then we clear it through this central channel. And I don't do this every time I'm on the phone and I'm clearing somebody in Colombia. I do this because my hand is a reflection of the body. It's that reflexology chart you may have seen. So we have a reflexology chart on our ears, our feet. We have it on our hands, our abdomen, and it's a reflection. You can look these charts up. So this would be that central channel. So I just kind of intend. Thank you for swiping that out. And I respect their subconscious. Thank you let's let that go. And it does. It's just amazing. And when we let these things go by clearing them, we feel lighter. People feel, either their communication, which is grand, like, communication can improve their body functions. We also have the body code, so we clear things with the body, could be any part of the body. And beliefs, we can clear those. It's all energetic frequencies, and people just feel phenomenal, and things get moving again in their life where they've been stuck. So.
Okay. And how do you, I know that, I know emotions definitely, for me, is my belief from studying Dolores Cannon and the thousands of sessions that she did, that almost, I would say factually, she proved that emotions are what cause disease, pretty much. So this could be a really great way, I think. During my hypnosis, I used to do hypnosis, QHHT, and sometimes people could not go under. The thinkers and the left brain people like myself. And so I feel like the emotion code and the belief code are great ways to be able to heal those things that are affecting people that are not able to go through the hypnosis route. And so I would love to understand, I've heard about the emotion code, but maybe an understanding of what the emotion code is in comparison to the body code, in comparison to the body code. Did I say that already? Anyway,
That's
emotion,
okay. Belief code and belief code, heart code.
And the heart code. So,
yeah, I can explain. So the the emotion code is basically the premise, okay, of which everything's been built on in this particular system by Dr. Nelson and Jean. So the emotion code, again, it's, and you can look that up on discoverhealing.com and get a free emotion code chart. It's basically all of the emotions and the organs that they're associated with. Basically, we just can clear those vibrations. They can come up in groups or in single emotions, and they get trapped in our body. Like I said, like if we're unable to process for some reason, there can be so many reasons. Like maybe we just had to keep going, and we just got injured, and we had to leave the area and process that later. Or it was just really overwhelming, whatever happened emotionally, trauma, then sometimes it gets stuck in our bodies for one. It can be really anything. One of the things they say is anything can cause anything. Anything can cause anything. Sounds crazy, but it's true. Anything. Be surprised what stubbing your pinky toe could cause if there's some other information that your subconscious is having to deal with. So then you have the heart code came when they were writing the emotion code book, and they discovered the heart code through Jean, Dr. Bradley's wife, because the heart basically, we can build a heart wall, and these emotions that get stuck in the heart, of course, the heart is, multi-chamber energy machine for sure. Like, I mean, it's electric. It's your heart, and it has, connections to our whole body through the circulatory system. There's not, you just can go on and on about the heart, but basically when we trap emotions, or they get trapped in our heart, it causes a wall. And so Jean, they figured that out with her one session that she was having. Like, why is it that she was having such a hard time with relationships and emotions? And it ended up that in a dream, she saw a wooden floor. And this floor ended up being like the wall in her heart was basically the wooden floor in her house when she was a child. So we can have different kinds of walls and different kinds of blocks in our hearts energetically for all kinds of things. Some people, there's a material aspect, or sometimes it's, it could be anything. So when we clear it, what is phenomenal is it really affects all the relationships. I personally think it when we clear a heart, every time we clear a heart, it's going to help the whole world, because the frequency of the earth is the same as the heart. And we all share this energy, this heart energy. But when it's blocked off, when it's walled, the communication is very difficult. The heart and the mind really have a hard time connecting. So that's one thing I have to say about the heart code. When we clear that, relationships get better. I've seen absolute, like, total turnarounds, and literally somebody's calling on the phone during the treatment, and it's like they weren't talking to them. So and then the body code, it has a whole nother it's got a whole bunch of different sections or classifications that have to do with our bodies. So it could be anything from energy to the circulatory system, the neurological system, the brain, the organs, the bones. Anything that can be out of alignment can cause issues. So again, the subconscious will lead us through these trails with yes or no questions we can ask. And sometimes those questions will come as intuits, like, well, maybe I ought to ask this. So it'll be different depending on who's working with you. Me as an acupuncture physician, I'm going to get different work because I'm Anna. I'm going to get different questions than anybody else. Every practitioner is going to be prompted by the subconscious to ask different questions, and you'll get a different trail. Nobody's going to have the same trail, but we can all help. And then the belief code is made up of systems that we can create with kind of like, it's almost like we're holding on to these statements that can be negative statements that of course, they're words and they carry energy. They are frequencies as well. So these statements could be anything like from I have to go to a good school, or it could be something. So it could be in line with education, or it could have to do with death. And it could say, I fear death. And so anyway, these statements, we clear systems. And so these systems, it's almost like computer-like how the subconscious communicates. We can communicate with the subconscious. So, and that's what you can discover with Dr. Bradley's emotion code book. Is really cool how he used to be more into computer systems, and then he realized, he had a calling, so to do something bigger. So anyway, so yeah, belief systems, we can clear those as well. And in the belief code, we incorporate the emotion code and the body code. So we do a lot of clearing. It's more with the belief code. And a lot of times it'll take a couple of sessions to help somebody, if they have, I meant to mention, with a heart code or body code. It could take a couple of treatments. And then so again, yeah, the heart code, I discussed that. So yeah.
Yeah. So the belief code, so you're saying, because I know the belief code came way after the emotion code. Well, the first one was body code. Was that the first one?
Emotion code.
Emotion code. And then
Yes.
body code.
And then body code.
And then, okay.
Belief.
And then belief code. Okay.
Belief.
And then the last one, which
but the heart code, the heart code started with the emotion code. It's just, they just came out with the book.
Okay. So then
digging in deeper.
Yeah. So if I come to you and I say, okay, I've had this pain in my back that won't go away, that goes away and comes back, I feel like it's clear and then it comes back. Like, how do you start this session? Like, how do you know where to begin? Because you have so many options, I think,
Well, I begin with connecting to you and asking you questions about the location, the type of discomfort, maybe the number between 1 to 10. So I can write that in the information about you. And I'll ask you for maybe a couple of other things that are going on that you want help with, because oftentimes there will be connections with emotional things in their life, or communication issues, or could be anything, work. And then for the body code, I would go to my app and I would look at the chart and I would ask yes or no questions. I would say, okay, does it have to do with this on the first line or this? And then I would just yes or no through the chart, and it would take me where I need to go. And anything could cause anything. So it might just take me somewhere absolutely unexpected. So I could clear a number of things, anything to do with this chart, whatever comes up. It could be a virus. It could be from when you were 3 years old. I can ask, well, do we need to know more about it? And it'll be like, yeah. So I'll say, okay, do we need an age? 0 to 10, 10 to 20. Oh, 11, 12, 13 years old. Is that when it started? So it'll be like individual treatment for anybody but usually people are pretty much amazed. There'll be something will come up and it'll be like, how could you, and I'm like, I'm not reading your mind. I'm just asking your subconscious yes or no questions. And another really good thing about this treatment, as far as emotions and heart code, that I just love, is I think it's so nice that you don't have to go through the psychotherapy session or the psychology, not that but we just clear it. And you can cry. I mean, if you feel the emotions, people will feel emotions come up, but we're not going to sit there, and you don't have to relive it, hash it out. I don't have to know all about you. And, I don't have to know anything.
Yeah. So if somebody has been sexually abused, for example, what you're saying is they don't have to go relive it,
Sure.
the horrific thing that they went through. They don't have to relive it.
Yeah, whatever it is. It could be anything. Sometimes it's just, let's keep going. It could be a husband about his wife. Maybe he doesn't want to talk. Who knows? Okay, if the penis comes up on the chart, that's okay. It's just your medical, every other person's got one, right? So it's no big deal. But I think people, sometimes people want to talk about their emotions, and that's okay. But it's just like, you don't have to. And it's better to use your time with your therapist to clear it. And then when you get off the phone, you're like, oh, let me have a glass of water. Well, I just feel better. I don't even want to talk about that. Most of the time people just feel relief.
Right.
So that's been my experience. I've been doing this for about 5 years, and it's been a big part of my practice. And I have not had anybody that hasn't felt some relief, even if it's just a sigh, just a breath, a better day, so it's good.
Wow. Yeah. So do you want to give us examples of things that have healed or moved along?
Sure.
Or
yeah. So a lot of times I get asked, hey, could you work on my husband? But he doesn't want to come in, and he wouldn't agree to this. But we want agreement. I don't want to be working on somebody's or asking their subconscious questions if they haven't agreed to that and if they're not signed up for it.
Yep.
But I will say that every time I work on a person and their subconscious, whatever happens with them literally affects everybody they know, even the people at the grocery that they don't know. Like, your whole world shifts in some regard, which is really phenomenal. So when somebody's really like, I'm really having so much trouble, I want to have a better relationship, I will say, okay, let's see. Do you need the body? Do you need the, emotion code? Do you need the body code? Do you need the heart code? And I will ask their subconscious, what do you think? Because I just work here. I just follow the boss, which is the subconscious. And I'm not trying to fix anybody. So I'm there to follow. And of course, when they're subconscious, when they're free of all this baggage and their frequencies, right? So they're literally vibrating negative frequencies, things that are not helping them. And of course, it's going to affect their relationship. So they go home and they're like, wow, Anna, that was easy. It was different. Something's going on here. Yeah, really? Okay. Good.
Wow.
And I really think that's good with any practice, that if you're a good therapist, if you're doing good work or it's working, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see their relationships change, and they didn't have to make the person, they're not, there's no manipulation involved. They're literally changed deeply, and without even talking to the other person. Like I said, somebody will call them on the phone. Hey, I love you. It's amazing. I had one really nice, she was like in her 70s, this woman, and she was going to go to her son's wedding. And that was in another state. And she was so worried because she had a few years where the bride-to-be was really not nice to her and just not cooperative. And now they're prepping a wedding, and it's like pulling teeth to get any information. Well, what color can I wear? What's acceptable? You know, this woman was like on eggshells. And so I did a clearing with her, and literally and she had told me some pretty bad communication issues with this new wife to be. And the next day, the wife to be clarified everything she wanted help with the wedding. This is she texted her these things. She said, all these, I love you. I really want to, I'm looking forward to you coming. It was mind blowing. And the whole dynamics changed and stayed that way. It was phenomenal. And then another woman came about her marriage, and she was pretty much, I've had a couple of those where it's like, well, I don't know, I'm really on the fence. I think it's time. And I'm like, well, are they, are you in trouble, like physically, or like, I want to see, of course, are you in danger? And then it's like, okay, well, let's treat you and see what happens. And then they are like, well, the communication changed. And sometimes, like one lady, it was her husband and her son, her adult son. Just everything changed. So let's see, what else can I? Oh, I love to work on animals. We can work on animals with permission. I have worked on, I think my dog just squeaked. I've worked with my dog, other people's dogs, cats. My favorite day was I was at a farming supply, and there was a network of different kinds of birds that were around our feet, and this woman who knew the birds. And anyway, I treated a sad turkey, and I asked, I said, did the turkey lose a friend? Oh yeah, his mate. Okay. Anyway, there were like 10 different birds, including a big turkey, a different type of turkey, another turkey like him, a goose who ended up sleeping on my foot, a whole bunch of little kind of chickens, and their entire behavior changed. And the woman who was there was blown away because she sees them every day, and they never, everything changed in order, and it was more peaceful. While I was clearing the one turkey, the other one came over and looked at me like, what are you doing? And I was a little scared, but then he went away and everything got really good. It was amazing. Yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah. And then I did also treat a rooster long distance. I wasn't in the room with the rooster, which I'm glad about, but the rooster had a sad cock-a-doodle-doo, and it was all night. And it was one of my daughter's 20-year-old friends. She said, he won't shut up. Oh my God, I'm going to cut his neck off, his head off. And so I said, well, look, you want to try, So it ended up, I asked, I said, well, here it's showing this and that. Does he have, what's his cock-a-doodle-doo like? Oh. Anyway, so cleared him. The next morning, the rooster crowed a normal rooster crow at 6:30 or 6, in the morning at sunrise, and that was it. And then she said, and he bit me. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Well, no, that means he has confidence now, because he was also low confidence. It was so funny. Oh.
So what did you find? What was the cause?
It was low confidence. Whatever the emotions were that were associated, I did pick up on that he had a low confidence.
But you don't know where it came from?
It was inherited. So it was from his ancestry. It was from the litter, from the parents. So we can also look at clearing things from generations back. So and that gets extreme, especially with more even deeper diseases, like maybe issues with the bones or the kidneys, or it can be ancestry, and we can clear that as well. And what that entails is asking, okay, which side was it on? Your mom's dad, your mom's mom? Oh, okay. Well, it could be the dad's dad, dad's mom. How many, is it further back? Yes. Okay. Well, 10, we'll go 0 to 10, 10 to 20, and it could be like 30 generations back. And then we'll ask, was it a man? Was it a woman? Oh, okay. And then if it was, then we just ask, okay, which emotions? And then we'll clear it through the whole line. And it is amazing what happens with that. Yeah. And it could be that you're carrying literally an ancestor's baggage through your life. And you're like, I don't know why I'm so sad.
Wow.
Well, now you know, and it's gone.
Wow.
The dog's bark.
Wow.
Hey,
Angel.
Google Chrome is frozen. I might just have to tap it, but I think we're still on. We still go to air, but it might be me just have to reboot. But just want to try it out.
We're so far from here, it all looks normal.
Yeah, I know, but it's not. When I did the reflexology of the air, it froze it. So I'll just see how it goes. Apologize.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So does he explain in his books as far as why is it that some emotions that are ancestral show up? Like, how come they don't show up from the beginning of your life? Like, why is it that sometimes they show up like, later on? What is it that causes that?
That's a good question. I don't think he actually does explain that. I've determined for myself that because a lot of times it's at teens, it's like 12, 13.
Oh.
And so when the trauma starts coming in, from being 12, 13, or, hormones hit or different aspects, it just starts showing up. It's not that it wasn't there, but now your weight is heavier, your load. So as we get older, we're born with that. We inherited it. It's been there. But I mean, even with craniosacral therapy, that's come up. I think we lost Jeff.
Yeah, we did.
Even
Wow.
with craniosacral therapy, that comes up. And like, for instance, you can be treating a woman I know this one particular case that people love to share in the class. It's like the woman's almost 80. She has this carotid blockage. Ends up that it was from the day she was born and how she came out of the womb. But it didn't get, impinged until later in her life as she's, so she's always had this pinch or this limitation from being out of alignment. But it didn't catch up to her until she's in her late 70s. You see, so that happens to us all the time. Like people say, oh, why did this just hit me? Well, it probably has been coming. It's been with you, but it just didn't. It's how much is it affecting you? So one of the things I do want to mention, I hope we're still online.
Yeah, we are.
Is that when we clear these things, it's energy.
Yeah.
And when we clear the channel and we ask for that to go out, it's literally gone. So after it's gone, the energy that's been stuck, then we go through processing. So like maybe the next day or that same day or a few days, it's like, oh, I don't feel the same. You're not the same. So your body has to kind of adjust to this change of, energy. And sometimes that's pleasant. And sometimes it's like, oh, I just got to sleep, or, sometimes it's not so pleasant, but it's good. because once it's gone, then you're in a new place and you kind of have to adjust around what that is. And you just have to just let your body heal, or process. And it could be processing that you never got to do when that emotion did come and get stuck in you. Maybe you got hit hard by a car on a bike and you never processed it, and it could be emotions and physical and the perspective. You get some clearing and it's like, oh, I feel like I've been hit by a car on a bike. Not that bad, but
Right.
still it's like you just let that lockup go, and now you're repositioning your entire energy field, because that's what we are. We're energy field.
Right, exactly. So can you, I know I've seen this chart of the emotion code. Do you think it would help people to see it and understand it?
Sure. And there's some simple explanations on the discoverhealing.com. Dr. Bradley has a few set up there, and there's a lot of information on the website about even how to use it, or the emotion code book teaches, and anybody can practice this. You don't have to be a medical practitioner of any sort, or have that kind of licensure. You're not physically touching somebody, but also it's so good to share with your family. So like if you love to work with animals, I highly recommend getting the emotion code book to learn more about it.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything else that I'm really also very interested in talking more about the heart code. And I tell you this because I had told you this when I reached out to you, that my whole life, like, I could never feel emotion or feelings, and I figured out after going to the Joe Dispenza conference that my heart was definitely blocked. And in this conference, it just it was open so wide, and it definitely felt like you said, it was like a heart wall, as you mentioned from his book. And so that was really important for me to bring up, because in yesterday's show on my channel, I was explaining to people how it's really critical that you open your heart. If you want to create more abundance and financial freedom in your life, if there is a heart block, I'm telling you, it's going to be very hard to manifest that, because you have to love yourself. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. So I wanted to make sure that people were aware that here is a key. Here is a way that you can go to a practitioner and work with opening your heart space.
That's right. And the heart code also book also explains how to do the heart code muscle testing. And you're right, because about what you said because the heart is a great communicator, and we underestimate. It's not our brain only. There's a cooperation going on here, and when our heart is shut, people can't receive them, and it's just like the door's shut. So yeah, energy is the key. Flowing energy, not stagnant, ouch energy, negative energy either.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is that, if your heart is blocked and you have self-worth issues, how are you going to clear self-worth issues if you don't love yourself, if your heart isn't open to even loving yourself, let alone if what I've noticed and what I've learned from this journey is that I couldn't love others because I couldn't love me. And so there's this heart wall that creates um, this block to loving yourself and therefore loving everybody around you. And so it was interesting because there is love, right? And you say, I love you, but the feeling behind it it wasn't there. I mean, now that I see it, it's like, oh my God, what a huge difference. So I just feel like this is a big deal here for anybody um, that either doesn't love themselves or doesn't feel emotion or put up a wall in their heart. Here's the opportunity to change your life forever, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you have anybody that any clients or anything like that where this was something that they were able to achieve with um, opening their heart, and how you said people that had not spoken to them to others, but I'm more interested in hearing about themselves, like
Oh
loving
yeah.
themselves.
Oh yeah. I mean, like definitely a lot of issues, of just various kinds have to do with self love and inability to connect to others. Also, self love. Um, but it's real. There isn't really a huge differentiation between loving yourself and others. It's just we think that, but the more we experience the love within ourselves and that flow, then I think the closer we get to realizing that we're all one and that we are sharing all the time. I mean, not saying that there aren't plenty of people that you don't want to share with and you want to be careful, about that, or energies. But it just makes everything better when we love ourselves. And it really, so like a lot of times I think people think it's outside of themselves, and they maybe never felt that about themselves, and there could be a number of reasons, like they were treated with disdain, or one thing that comes up a lot of times is like chemicals and drugs that are used for birthing can really get in the way of self-love and our coming into this world, and also our mother child relationship, that can really interfere for our entire life. And those are things that can be cleared as well. Like they don't, yeah, we can, like my mom was asleep. They used to put you in what they called twilight. So I think that, I mean, I know because of craniosacral therapy practice, and that's with the Upledger Institute. And from my studies there, that it's true that many times if you're a person who doesn't know why, but you don't want to be hugged and you don't want to be touched, it could be even from in the womb or the birthing, or of course your childhood. If you haven't had those neural chemicals, because they were blocked for some reason or the other, or they were with the opposite, the undesirable chemicals, then yeah, it's hard.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think that every time we make space and remove some of the negative stuff, we have more opportunity. Like clearing the heart is basically now, or the belief code now there's a space to build a new structure to bring in what we want to fill with. As long as we're not still talking to ourselves in the same program, we can do that. We can say, well, I choose love. But you don't have to say it. You can find it through music, through art, through the just breathing. And, when we're still, we're never still. We're always moving energy. So you feel around and you're like, well, this is new. It's like being a baby again. It's like, I just recently cleared some things for myself. And I was just like, oh my gosh, all these really awesome memories came back to me that I kind of forgotten, because I just kept remembering some negative memories. And so I was really glad to clear some of that baggage. And I didn't talk myself through that. I just, cleared. So
what about people that are overweight? Are you able to help with that at all?
Yeah, because a lot of times that's a relationship with themselves. That's or with food, or with, it can be a number of things. It just totally depends on the person. It could be their relationship with society, and so many aspects with that.
Right. So, but I'm sure obviously it's emotional. I mean, as far as weight, I know that in the hypnosis area, where what we see is that they're protecting, right? It's about protection of some kind, especially if it's women. With men, I'm not sure that that's the case all the time, but so have you had any success with that, with people losing weight, people that have a lot of weight, or not, or is that not something that you've dealt with very often?
I would say more like with the codes, it's more like their relationship with themselves or around what's around. So I'm not going out of my way with these codes to help people with weight per se, but
Okay.
that would be an added bonus as far as like, it's a relationship thing. It's either a relationship with themselves, the food, I mean, I do hypnosis as well. So like, no, I probably would, if I'm helping somebody with their food relationship, I would probably use a combination.
Okay.
There's a lot of subconscious going on there. And also with the acupuncture, the swelling and the food, the swelling is a big thing. A lot of people are really just inflamed. So that's where a lot of the weight really adds on. It's like you just keep seeing yourself puff out, and it's like, yeah, there's so many things to do with weight.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Like a lot of times we think that people are just, if they're overweight, oh, they must be just packing down those, potato chips. And, a lot of people are not. A lot of people are literally swollen from the inside out and inflamed. So it's more complicated than that usually.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I myself, I feel like when I've lost this emotional baggage, I feel like it's helped me with my weight. Like, I don't feel so strong, the urge to quiet my emotions, for one thing. And also, so yeah, it can help a lot. It's just not like, I wouldn't say, hey, let's write a weight loss book for, emotions. But
Right.
the emotions are heavy. Most people will say they feel lighter after a treatment.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So how can people find you?
So I have a website, www.phase, like the moon, not the number 9 and a line. Yeah, that's it. So, and I'm in Merritt Island, Florida, but I also do sessions by phone call. So, email, and again, energy doesn't really doesn't have boundaries. It's really awesome. So we can reach across the world and we can help one another. And I believe in prayer as well. So yeah, that's part of my practice as well. Through everything I clear, I'm with the intention to help. So yeah, call me anytime. It's best to look on the website for how to reach me for emotion code appointments, or body or belief or heart code. And right now is like heart is so central to,
Everything.
yeah, heart's
Everything.
really, yeah, we're all tuning in whether we know it or not. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Is there anything else? Any parting words you have for us, or anything else you would like us to know?
yeah, just that there is definitely, there are a lot of really good, gentle things that we can do to bring love into our life, and openness, and feeling, and so we can process, and so we can be less inflammatory and be more productive in healthy ways. And it could be that you need to you could call a doctor like me, or you could call a code practitioner, or go outside and get grounded. A lot of these things that people are doing these days to help their minds and their hearts are very valuable. And so I just recommend, tuning in, meditating, finding any way to connect.
Yes, absolutely. Meditation changed my life, so I couldn't agree more. I mean, seriously, um, connecting to the divine and being in that space of infinite possibilities without the mind getting in the way is just an amazing way to disconnect and really know who we are. And it's just a huge source of power there for us to heal. And yeah, I'm glad that you came today. Thank you so much for uh, being able to come in with the short notice. I so
Thank you,
appreciate.
Elisa. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank you so much.
Good. Take care now.
All right. Thank you.
If I can log on.